Live.
We are live.
Live and in person.
We're actually not live once again, but we're here.
We're always live.
We're live together.
I hope this works. This way we're doing this.
Too.
I'm always so confused on like the reflection, you know?
What a funny background we have.
I know, this is the least aesthetically pleasing. I've never been more washed out in my life.
I'm taking my shoes
so
off
much
to be
spray tan on me.
more comfortable.
Can you see how bad this is from there?
You don't want to see. It's pretty bad, honestly.
It's really bad.
She took not rubbing alcohol, nail polish remover. Are those the same thing?
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We'll
Am I supposed to
never
look
know.
at you? Am I supposed to look
I
at
don't
the
know.
camera?
Dear God.
Mm.
I don't know.
I like how we're not even.
We look even better on my so I'm recording my audio on my laptop. For some reason, the lighting looks better on mine, just on this side angle of us. Oh well. Anyway, so what's up? How's Ohio?
Oh my God, hi. Ohio is good. Ohio means hi in Japanese. It's good. I got home on Wednesday. Zoe picked me up from the airport, not in a semi. And I've been hanging out ever since.
Not really. You've left town twice.
That's true. I have.
You've been home for approximately 3 minutes.
I have to see everybody in the 6 days that I'm home.
I know. I always forget because every time you're like, I'm coming home, I'm like, oh, I'm going to see her for this many days. And then I'm like, oh, wait, no, she has to go see every single friend she has.
I know. That's Mom was complaining too. She's like, I'm going to take off work on Monday so we can hang out. And I was like, that's a lot. You don't need to do all of that. And she's like, I haven't seen you since you've been home, and you've been home for 3 days.
Yeah, no, that's probably a good idea. I think Mom has lots of vacation time she could be taking anyway.
I know. Imagine we use both videos and then we cut to this video.
We could. We could and we can. You're gonna have to edit this, during the shower on Sunday to get it
Yeah,
out?
I know. I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna do this when I'm intoxicated on Friday night.
Okay, that sounds good. I still need to edit my YouTube.
Anyways, we have some questions.
Yeah, we're gonna
from
do
the sister
questions.
friends.
Yeah, we polled the people. We asked them questions. I also received some questions just on my page, but people sent them in direct messages, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to find them again.
We'll start with the very first question we got, which was, who's higher maintenance?
You.
I have to agree, but I also don't think I'm like high maintenance.
I don't think you're high maintenance. I think you're just higher. I should have more maintenance of myself.
Yeah, I do things like dye my hair.
Yeah, you
and
do
my
it yourself.
nails.
Yeah.
But I'm like high maintenance on a budget.
Yeah. Whereas like I get my nails done probably like twice a year, and I desperately need to get my hair done, but I'm just like refusing to. It looks fine in some lightings, and the other lighting it's like, oh, you got highlights 7 years ago, and haven't gotten them updated since.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I get my Botox. That's
I
high
don't get
maintenance.
Tox. I would get Tox, but I can afford the Tox.
Except for like I also I'm supposed to get it like every 3 months or something because I have an extremely expressive face and it lasts for approximately 1 week. But like now I just kind of go like once or twice a year, and I don't really. In the beginning when I started getting it, I kept up with it, but not really anymore.
I would get Botox if I had the kind of funds.
The means.
Yeah, no, I'd probably say I'm higher maintenance.
But yeah,
I
still
feel
not.
like we're both low maintenance gals.
Yeah, because like the maintenance you're doing it yourself. You're a DIY. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Are you over wedding planning?
Yes. I was over wedding planning before it even started. I'm just not a person who likes to plan, which is like, it's literally your whole job.
Yeah. My whole job is event planning.
I just know, like even today, like just having to like text the group message and be like, okay, these are the logistics. And so I don't like being in charge. Also, like Emily was like, I'm so excited to celebrate you. Like that gave me a pit in the stomach. I'm like, I don't want this. I don't like
being the center of attention.
I don't like being the center of attention, which is like, at the same time, I absolutely love being the center of attention. I just don't like being a planned center of attention.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No. Yeah, no, it does. I hear you. I actually really enjoyed the bachelorette bridal shower planning. We're doing it all on the same weekend, which is like a lot for me. I think I would have enjoyed it more had they been separated. Just because I'm trying to make like 2 distinct separate events happen within 48 hours. And it's also a busy time at work. Not my computer screen going blank.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It just will snooze itself. But no, I'm not over it. Like, I had a lot of fun doing it. I'm kind of sad that it's over, honestly, but it's fine. I don't have to do like the hard wedding planning. I only had to plan like the fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, and like the wedding itself, we're doing like a quote unquote like all inclusive venue where like they provide like all of the different services. You just have to like pick them, and we're actually doing that next week. Is like when we make all these decisions. And I was talking to my friend Kelsey because they're getting married 3 weeks after us, and they're doing like the same. I feel like most venues now actually do that kind of where. You just pick from a list, and she was like, it just got to a point where it was like, I don't care, like she was just picking stuff because it was like there's so many little details, and it's like you might really care about a few things, but like I don't have strong preferences on the silverware that people are using at my wedding. Like I simply don't care.
See, that's so funny because I do care. Like that's things I would actually have opinions about. And my friend Eleanor, who is getting married in June, whose bachelorette's actually next weekend, also did like an all-inclusive, like where she just had to like pick 5 different things, and then they like figure it out.
Yeah.
But and I would like that. Like I'd want just the options to be ready, and I can just pick. But I do think I have opinions on like small details like that.
Yeah, I have opinions on some of the things. But what I don't like is that they're like, pick from these things, and then it's like, oh, interesting, you picked the most expensive thing. Because they're not like, here are the options and the costs associated with them.
Oh, interesting. Eleanor's is like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least, I don't know, because we went to this like first look thing where you like pick through the stuff, and then it was like on a list with like a price breakdown after you tried it. So I don't know if at this details meeting it'll be kind of structured differently, but
yeah.
I would appreciate if there was like prices next to things.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know what kind of food we're gonna have at your wedding, or that's what you're picking next week?
That's what we're picking next week. So what we tried was, there was one chicken that Dad was like, this is not good, and there was a pork that was not good. And then there was like one like steak thing that was delicious, and that was like on the premium deluxe. You're gonna have to pay 3 kidneys for this meal. There was a salmon option that was good. So I think basically like the packages there's like basic, premium, gold, platinum, superstar.
It's like Delta.
Yeah, and like I think we're gonna go in the mid tier.
Okay.
Because the first option, like there's only one food choice.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we want to at least give people 2 food choices. And I think there is an option for like vegetarian with all of them no matter what, which I think the only vegetarian is Mom.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cody's wedding, they did spaghetti.
It was pretty good.
I like spaghetti.
Yeah.
It is like messy though.
Yeah.
What do you like think about that?
Yeah, that's true.
Have you thought about like at the reception if you're gonna do like a table, or is it gonna be like a sweetheart table?
Yeah, we've actually already, like, this is crazy because we haven't even sent out like invitations yet. But we've already figured out like who's gonna sit at which tables. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like segmented ones, and then like a middle one with like the bridal party. And so we'll just be in the middle of the floor with everyone.
Yeah.
But it'll be like bridal party plus their dates.
Okay.
And then minus bridal party members who have like families. So like Cody and other Cody will sit with their kids. Danny will sit with her kids.
So where am I at?
You're next to me and Eduardo.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if she was gonna sit me at Mom and Dad's table.
You're not a kid.
But inside,
I know this is crazy. I know this is insane, but you're actually not a child anymore.
5-year-old kid.
You actually don't have to sit at the table with your parents.
I know. I feel like they're gonna hand me a glass of champagne, and I'm gonna be like, "Can I have this?"
Oh my goodness.
Okay, how exciting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very excited for your wedding. Okay, Audrey asked, what's your favorite memory with your sister?
Ooh.
We have so many funny
memories.
That, like, it wasn't like anything important was happening. It's just, like, funny. Like, 2 sisters, 1 ratchet strap.
Oh,
that was funny.
Yes. So that was when we moved Kinsey out of, was that the first or second time we moved you out? out of your apartment?
I think
Second time.
It was the time.
the final.
It was the final time. It was just me and
Yeah.
you because Tanner wasn't there.
Yeah.
And here's backstory. I was moving from DC to New York and I had a bunch of furniture that wasn't coming with me. And so I donated it to the Goodwill. And Zoe came with her truck and her ratchet strap to help me load up my furniture. And neither one of us knew how ratchet straps worked.
No, it is no one does. I still don't. And like so many times JD's been like, this is just how you do it. And like if I'm alone, no one's around me, I'll get it done on the first try. If anyone is looking or if there's any sense of pressure, I won't be able to figure it out.
And let me tell you, we struggled, and we're like in DC. There's like a lot of traffic. There's nowhere to park. We're loading it up in the back alley.
Well, in like your apartment, it was like we had to go up and down the elevator like 7 times with all of your things.
And then we were driving to Goodwill, and I was like feeling good inside. I was like, I'm donating barely lightly used furniture. Like this is gonna go to a good home. I feel good about this. Mm-hmm. We pull up to Goodwill. They're like, drive around back. That's where we put furniture. So we drove around back. 48 beds.
A sea. And it was
everyone was donating.
It was like the McDonald's drive-through at 8 a.m. Like everyone was getting rid of furniture.
And it was like all the same stuff. I was like, oh my God, never mind.
And they were like, they were looking at it to decide if they wanted it.
Yeah.
And so then I was getting nervous because I was like, if they don't want it, where do we take it?
I know. It was really funny. Another good story is the year before when you and Tanner were driving me home and we stopped
the man in the subway.
We stopped at Subway to get sandwiches and a man fell in a hole.
He fell in a hole and he was just so mad. You know, I think they just left. But it was like he could have been like severely injured.
It was a deep hole.
And they had
this was inside
they had
the
tarps
subway.
Around this thing, but they didn't have like cones being like, watch your steps. So like you just see like a tarp thing, you know, you think you can kind of bump into it or whatever. It was like plummeted feet down.
He was like, his head was below the ground level.
He could have so easily sued that Subway / gas station for everything
he was just
they were
like
worth.
So embarrassed.
I think he was so embarrassed,
and
but like
so mad.
Oh my gosh, I would had it been me, I would have died in that hole.
It was so crazy. Like this man was behind us in line. We turn around and he's no longer there. He's below ground.
It was just so insane. Like they needed to have caution tape. They needed to have signage. It was not good.
Oh, so that's a fun memory.
Yeah, that is a fun memory.
What other memories?
I liked when we went to go see Hamilton. Just because you were like so passionate about it and you were so hyped and it was like cute to see. And I
know I literally cried and so he's like, I don't hear what they're saying.
I can never understand any lyrics.
I liked our trips to New York when we were kids. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
What's your favorite memory? Oh, you just said Hamilton.
Yeah, Hamilton.
I'm trying to think.
I'm sure there are plenty others.
Do you have a worst favorite memory?
I remember when we went Black Friday shopping one time in high school.
Terrible.
And we didn't get anything and you just made us get up at 4 a.m.
It was
and like
so stupid. That
was there was no game plan. There was nothing we were shopping for. We were also in high school, so we had no budget. It was, and then I think I bought 2 things and they were both full priced items.
I just like wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah, and then it was like 7 a.m. and we just like drove home and it was like, okay, well we did that.
Yeah, it was really stupid. I've never ever gone Black Friday shopping after that.
No, that was bad.
I remember we fought one time at the fair because you were dealing with your own personal struggles, which was you didn't know if Ethel was going to be able to move in with you to your college house.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I was just like beat bopping around and I was unaware of the situation. Yeah, and so I was just like in my own world because I was 15. And Zoe yelled at me and Mom yelled at me. And then I was like, it's going to be fine. And then you guys are both like, it's not going to be fine. And then it was fine. Mm-hmm. So that's like that's a bad memory.
I guess a bad memory is when I kicked you out of the house.
Oh, we'll get into that later.
Okay.
That was an insane time.
You deserved it though.
I did deserve that. Okay. So many fun memories. They always happen when we're doing dumb things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the very next question was asked by Edward, and he said, "Talk about y'all's experiences living together."
Yeah, so Kenzie moved in with me one
Let's
summer.
start. When we were kids, we lived together.
Obviously, yeah.
We shared a bathroom
And a bed.
and a bed.
And a bed because Kenzie had to sleep with me until she was moving to college. No, until I moved to college.
That's not true. I slept with you until you were 16. And you were like, you can't sleep here anymore.
Yeah, she was literally a full-grown 12-year-old and was like, okay, I guess I'll venture into mom and dad's room now.
Yeah. Anyways, I felt like when we grew up, it was like the normal amount of sister fighting. Like, we fought a lot, but like, about stealing, like, I would steal Zoe's clothes, and like, that was not cool of me to do.
Yeah, which I didn't care if you used them or not. You just trashed them and destroy my valuables. You couldn't be trusted. I really liked when you were little enough that you wanted pennies over quarters, and so like, I'd be counting my change, and you'd be like, "I'll trade you all of these dumb silver-looking things for all the pretty pennies." And I'd be like, "Okay, sucker."
Yeah, that's rude. Zoe would like Zoe was such a
Entrepreneur.
an entrepreneur from a very young age. She was
trying to get that American Girl doll money.
Always willing to like do chores, like extra chores around the house for like money. Mom would pay us, was it $4 an hour?
I don't even think that.
It was something insane where I was like, I'm not gonna do this. She was like, if you wash my car for an hour, I'll give you $4. And I'm like, that's insane.
And I was like, give me another car.
I was like, first of all, I'm not gonna wash your car for an hour. Second of all, only $4. Like, what's that gonna get me?
Yeah, I was always like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I wanted American Girl doll stuff, and it was expensive, and I was like, well, how am I gonna get it? What am I gonna have to do? And try to sell artwork at the end of the driveway with my friend Erin, which we lived in rural America, and so people would be driving by at 60 miles an hour, like literally 3 times a day, like because it wasn't a road, we didn't live in town, so mom would then come down to the end of the driveway, and like she would haggle with us. She'd be like, okay, I'll give you $2 for the whole work. So like I spent hours on these pictures.
I remember just wanting so bad to have a lemonade stand, and that's just like not something you can do in.
We had a lemonade stand at Aunt Verna's. She had a yard sale one year. Do you remember? Oh. And we made lemonade and cookies and we sold them, and we did pretty good.
Oh wow!
Do you remember that? You probably don't remember.
Was I there?
It was probably more of a me and Cody thing.
Yeah. I remember I wanted a lemonade stand, but I was not an entrepreneurial kid. I was like, okay, Zoe can buy the American Girl doll stuff. I'll get it passed down to me in 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, and also I love to spend the $4 I had. Zoe would save her money in her bedside table drawer. And one time we had a woman that came over and cleaned our house, and she told mom that she thought you were doing drugs. Yeah. Because she was like, she has a lot of money. She has a lot of
cash just sitting in a drawer. My mom's like, oh, we need to get her a bank account.
Yeah.
Because, and at that time, this is insane looking back at it now. I had a job in high school, and I didn't have a bank account, so I'd always just go and I'd cash my check, and then I would just keep my money in a drawer, not accruing a penny of interest.
Wait, why did you not have a bank account?
I don't know. Mom just like never set it up, and I just didn't know to get one.
When did I open my first bank account? I feel like I was probably like 16.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Because I remember I went to the bank. I think it was when I was like, I think it was after that incident with the cleaning lady finding my money that mom was like, oh, we need to get her a bank account.
Yeah, that was really funny. The cleaning lady was like, your daughter's dealing drugs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's just her lemonade money.
No, she's just been cleaning the house since she was 3. trying to make a buck.
She was competing for your job, woman. That's a threat. Yeah, that's really funny.
But yeah, what was the question? Oh, when we lived together.
Oh, okay. So fast forward. You can tell the story.
Yeah. Okay. So, I lived in the house that I live in now. It was not as cute. It was still very old-timey, scary, spooky skeletons, haunted house.
It was haunted.
And Kenzie got a whole bunch of unpaid internships in college, and so she one summer was in Cleveland, Ohio slash Columbus slash. She was just
I
driving
was
all.
in Toledo and Columbus.
Okay, she was driving all over Ohio, and my house was a center point between those locations, and so she was like, "Can I move in with you?" I was like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "Can also my friend move in with you?" And I'm like, "Sure." And
my friend also, so this is what happened. My friend also got an unpaid internship also in Columbus, but she lived in Cleveland. So she was going to have to make a 3-hour drive every day unless she found a place to live and also for free because she was unpaid.
Yeah, because it was unpaid. And just like that's just so not okay.
It was also just like 6 weeks. It wasn't like a forever.
Yeah. And it was just for a few weeks. But so Kinsey moved in and it was like fine. But like she was trekking all over the United States with her job and coming home being very grouchy and then just like destroying the house. And Kinsey has always been a messy person.
I'm a messy person, and now I'm at an age where I just like know that.
And I had like
I'm messy. Edward knows I'm messy. Mom knows I'm messy. I'm messy.
Yeah, and I wasn't like a neat freak in high school at all, but like living with girls in college, it actually made me like more of a cleaner person because I couldn't stand the mess. And so then when I moved home, I was like, oh, everything's getting picked up because like I'm the only one here. And so I can keep things the way I want them. And so I'd been living by myself for like 2 years at that point. And so I was very used to my routine and stuff. And I do like physical labor. And so like I'd come home and I'd be so tired. And then Kenzie'd come home and be like, let's party. Not really. I mean, not at all. But she was just a miserable person without a job. Without an income. Sorry, you had so many jobs, no income. And so then your friend moved in, and your friend was fantastic. She was in no way trashing my home. And then you, on top of that, then had your boyfriend come over, and it was in that weekend that I was like, now I have 4 people living in my home. Then I went to mom and dad's house, and I was like, you gotta leave. You gotta leave. And so then they packed up and left, and then obviously like within 5 minutes I was like, oh my gosh, I should have just like kept my cool. I should have just gone to mom and dad's house for the weekend. It would have been fine, because then I was like, oh, now I've alienated Kenzie, her friend, and her boyfriend. And I feel so awkward.
Yeah, no, it was.
And so then they moved all of their stuff out, and I was like, so sorry guys, but like
it was over. I think the final breaking point was a wet towel on the floor, which to this day I still do and drives Eddie insane. That's fine.
Because there's this weird thing about her where like, you know how like you get out of the shower, you just like dry yourself off a little bit. Kenzie will have the water running and then like step out without even a thought of like getting some of the excess water, and so then there will just be like a puddle and a sopping wet towel.
That's true. And then I like
Going
do
to
towel time,
going
where I
to
lay in
any
a towel
room.
for an hour in my bed.
Yeah.
And then when I'm completely air dried, then I'll get dressed, and then I just like leave that towel somewhere, which I know is like not great.
Yeah. So Kenzie had to leave. Kenzie had to leave my house.
I was evicted.
Yeah, but now
but it was like also totally fine. Like I stayed, and my parents have a finished
garage.
Like apartment looking thing above the garage at home, and it was like totally fine. I wasn't like displaced.
Yeah.
But I was humiliated.
I too was humiliated.
On a deep sense. And then all I remember is Maddie, who was my friend who was staying with me, was like, oh my god, Zoe hates me. And I was like, no, Zoe doesn't hate you. Zoe hates me.
Yes. And I stand by that. I still like her.
And honestly, cool. I think to this day our friendship's best when we don't live together.
Yeah, because even when I was in your car this morning, we were coming home, I was like, oh, I could pick up these 4 empty water bottles and throw them away. And I was like, no, I'm not in charge of this.
No. You're not.
No, but I would really love if you just cleaned out like 7 of those water bottles.
I know.
Anyway, next question.
The next questions are dumb because they're from Tanner and they're not real.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah. He said, what is the soul? The next question was, can we quantify consciousness? And then the next one after that is it ignorant for us to call AI artificial when we don't know what intelligence even is?
Wow. Too deep for a Friday morning. Too deep.
No, it's also, yeah, so
Friday
guys,
morning.
it's Friday at 9:30 in the morning.
Oh, finally, the liquor store's open now.
So Zoe and I had a bright morning. Bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, 8 o'clock. We go to Walmart. This is really annoying that my computer keeps
there are
going to
settings.
sleep like that.
There are settings that you can change for that.
So we go to Walmart because we are bacheloretting this afternoon.
Yeah.
And we need to get snacks.
Snickety snacks.
And tequila. And the liquor store, we walk in because it says it's open at 8 a.m.
Which we were like, that's insane.
Yeah, first we were like, you should not be able to sell liquor at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Turns out you can't.
You can't buy liquor till 9. And we were there at 8:45, and we were not willing to wait 15 minutes. So we said, goodbye, liquor store. See you later. But
yeah. Yeah.
Are you excited for this weekend?
No, I'm nervous because Kenzie yesterday, or a couple days ago, I don't know, she was like, are you going to be weird and not drink? I was like, what are you talking about? Because I do drink. And she was like, you know, that one time, like, you had 2 drinks and then you just stopped drinking because you're like, my stomach hurts. And I was like, yeah, I was in immense pain. I didn't feel good. Yeah, I happened to one time feel ill after having 2 drinks, but now I'm like in my head.
I don't know.
And I'm not a big drinker.
Think when you guys got engaged in the Hamptons, you drank a lot. But that was like the last time I feel like I've seen you drink a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, also, I wasn't hungover that whole time. I think I was just like running on adrenaline.
It was not a year ago.
It was not a year ago.
It was like 8 months ago, though.
It was a while ago. Yeah, that was really fun. Honestly, like having it, then I was like, I don't really need a bachelorette because this felt like a mini. I was like with all my friends. It was great. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I'll probably drink that amount. I'm not gonna like be wild, jumping on tables, screaming, dancing. But I will sit at a bar and sip on a few cocktails.
Are very interesting because it's like the meshing of your friend groups, and you have like very distinct, like, these are my friends from high school. These are my friends from college. These are my friends because they're Tanner's relation. And now we're all together.
Okay, I have my 2 high school friends. Mm-hmm. I have my 3 college friends, and I have my 2 C-stores. Mm-hmm. It's not that crazy, but it is kind of crazy like, that no one's interacted
no one's met before.
Yeah, so technically Emily stayed at our apartment one time, but like literally for a few hours. So like it's not like she remembers my roommates, and honestly, it could have been a slightly different set of roommates too. But yeah, I don't know. I'm really excited because like individually, everyone's been like, "Do you think we're gonna get along with this person?" That person? I'm like, "Oh, I like my friends all so much that like I'm not worried about like personalities not meshing or like obviously like whenever you meet someone it can be like an awkward ice-breaking couple of, you know, a little bit of time or whatever, but like I'm not in any way worried. And because also like no one's like alone, you know what I mean? No one's like I guess like Danny hasn't like met anyone, but like she's also the most outgoing and friendly person in the world, so like I'm not at all worried about her.
No, I think it's gonna be really fun,
but it will be just weird that all of my people are in one.
We're going to dinner tonight at the first place you and Tanner had your first date.
It was just a place that my friends would always go for margaritas because they have really good like freshly made margs, and I do remember the last time I went, I was like, wow, these things are flavorful.
Do you remember your first date with Tanner?
Yeah.
Was it awkward?
No, he drove his Mini Cooper, and we so
did you meet there or did he pick you up?
No, he picked me up in his Mini Cooper, which like had like probably half of a gallon of gas in it because I've never known when he was in college, I never knew him to have more than 3 miles still empty. We probably coasted the whole way to the restaurant. And then, so we got a picture of margaritas, and like after we ordered and walked away, he was like, "You are like really 21, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, yes, of course I'm 21." Which I was like literally like I'd been 21 for 3 weeks. but I was acting as if like I'd been 21 my entire life.
Is he 1 year older or 2
Two.
years older?
So he's
Okay.
Cody's age. Yeah. So he'd been 23 or whatever. And I was like,
Okay.
I'm sorry, were you trying to take a 20-year-old out on a date? Freak. And I like literally just crossed over the cusp of not being a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had margaritas, and then he drove me home, and then we talked on the couch, and then we both fell asleep on like separate couches.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of those things where it was
Like
just
in
like,
your apartment?
yeah. And then he left, and then
She never saw him.
and then he was like, I think like a week or so later, I don't know. I think I had told him I'd been like on and again, off again with someone, and he like sent me a text that was like, hey, like if you're still in the middle of something, like I don't want to be in the middle of whatever that is. And I was like, okay, sounds good. I'll go with him, other person, because this is the thing. I knew I liked Tanner more, but I already had this entanglement with this other person.
Yeah.
And I'd already broken up with him like 3 times, but then every single time we just like get back together because like we had like mutual friends, and it was like
convenient.
It was convenient, but neither of us liked each other all too much. But I was just like, Tanner gave me an out, and so I took it. It's like, well, this will solve my problem. Who cares about my feelings?
Fascinating.
So then, I think then, and so I'd been dating this other guy, and like we finally.
Is this the guy that went on our family vacation?
Yeah, and we knew it was over.
Everyone knew it was over before then. I was like, oh, Zoe brought her cousin
here. Neither of us had a good time, but it was like, I think because we both like already committed to going, but like literally it wouldn't have mattered at all had he not come. But I think like in my head I was like, oh, I already said he was gonna come. How embarrassing would it be if he didn't? So then after that we broke up via phone call, and he called and he was like, listen, like we need to talk. And I was like, I could tell it was the breakup. Yeah. I was like, thank God, because I was always the type that like I didn't want to hurt someone's feelings. Yeah. And I was just like, I'll just not like you. And so then he like broke up with me, and I was like, finally, sweet relief. And so then literally that night Tanner had like he like sent me a message on Twitter or something. He was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, oh, great, single now. This sounds horrible.
Single within hours.
Yeah, well, no, and this is the thing.
Have you ever been actually single in your entire life?
Yeah, my freshman and sophomore year of college. So, but like besides that, no. I was like always like just in a relationship with someone that I felt very neutral about.
We're just relationship girlies.
Yeah.
I've also always just like been in a relationship.
Yeah. Which I don't
think
know.
It means I'm
but like also I wouldn't have been a person that like wanted to like go on dates and stuff.
Oh,
so
absolutely not.
That was fine for me. But anyway, so he like reached out, and then it was like the summer before my junior or senior year, maybe?
Junior year, probably.
I don't know. And I don't know. So then we just started hanging out, and then we've been together for 1,000 years.
I'm trying to think about the first time I met Tanner. Was it when I came to Columbus as a 17-year-old?
Yeah, because I think we went to the movies with Zeb.
Oh, that was not the time I was talking about.
Oh.
I don't remember the first time I met
I know you came to Columbus one time, and we went out with my friends, and then I had to like Uber you back home before we went out because you were like
that was the time I was talking about. I think that was the first time I met him, and then we went to Jake's apartment. Is that the cheerleader? Josh. We went to Josh's apartment, and all of Tanner's friends have the same name. That's like
they do. There's 2 Jakes and a Josh.
Like, how am I supposed to keep those straight? And I was 17, and everyone was like trying to get me to like have fun and whatever, and I was like just cool hanging out, and then they were like, well, should we like go to an 18 up bar? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not 18.
Yeah, because you're just like, I'll just dip out.
And Josh was like, you're not even 18. And I was like, I am a child. And then I went home. And then you kept going out, and you brought me back a Euro.
Oh, Euro. Those are so good. Oh, we could get one of them tonight.
You were just like sticking it in my face. You were like, try this, it's so yummy. And I'm like, it smells like sour cream.
Dude, those are so good. Tanner's ruined so many pairs of pants with Euro grease just like splatting on him. Yeah, they're very messy, but they have them all over town. Not all over, but like somehow you always just find them.
I liked Tanner. He always just was always very nice. I don't know. I don't remember my first impression, but I'm sure it was nice.
Yeah. He's an easy person to hang out with.
It's crazy that Tanner has met all of my boyfriends.
That is weird. Yeah.
Because when I met Tanner, I was in high school. I was 16, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which
16,
all of your
17.
boyfriends, you've had like 2.5.
Yeah, I know. But still.
Yeah, no.
He's been around for a long time.
The first time that we met Eddie, Eduardo, Kinsey and Eddie had left, and Tanner and I were talking, and he's like, they just can't break up because Kinsey's not gonna do better than that. Not in like a bad way to you, just like that Eddie's so great.
Yeah.
That we're like, we're gonna be.
Well, and
sad
Eddie and Tanner are just like
up.
the people that can just like make friends with anybody.
Yeah.
Like Eddie will make friends with every Uber driver he's ever had.
Yes.
Like he'll get out and be like, yeah, we're friends on Facebook now, and I'm like, that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew that. I think the first time they ever hung out was when Zoe and I went to get Zoe's wedding dress.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys can get lunch, and so we like sent them to this restaurant, and they were there for 8 hours.
Forever. And like it's a kind of expensive restaurant too. Just like the cocktails are probably like, I don't know, $10 or something. I don't know. I don't even want to know what the damage was done. And then of course what was crazy is like we got there and they're like, oh, we can drive, which we were going to pick them up because like we knew
they were drinking for 8 hours.
And like and we were like, no. And then they wanted to continue the party and we're like, let's get you home.
Yeah. Like we just had an 8-hour shopping experience.
It was not we had a 1 hour shopping experience.
Oh, which reminds me, I don't know if Mom wants to ask you. Maybe I'll save it for Mom to ask you.
What?
It's about earrings for your wedding.
Oh, I already got those ugly ones I don't want.
Okay, well, she has pearls that Mimi wore, and then she wore.
Oh, well, I have 2 holes.
Well, and she just only really cares about the ceremony. You can change them for the reception.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like the ones that I picked out. Actually, Tanner's mom had like, there was just like 2, and she's like, oh, I prefer these ones over those ones, and it's not like it was like a sentimental moment or anything. But yeah, I got these earrings, and when I got, so this is the issue. So I got my wedding dress, and then like they threw a veil and like earrings and jewelry on me and like hairpins and stuff, and we go to check out, and they're like, all the accessories are 10% off if you buy them today. And I said, okay. But like I had meant like, okay, thanks for that information. And then when I went to like check out, their card machine was down, and so I couldn't see an itemized list. Mm-hmm. And so I just handed my credit card over. She told me what the whole price was overall, which I just thought was the price of the dress because they don't have the amount. And I was like, cool, I'm actually under budget. And so then I get a printed out because they like sent it to a printer because their card thing hadn't been working. And it was like, I spent $500 on accessories that I felt very neutral about because I also hadn't realized I bought these accessories. Yeah. And everything there's final sale because it's like I keep on saying it's a resale shop. It's like it's dresses that were samples and then they resell them, and like my dress has like some damage on it. But like I'm gonna get it altered. So you can't return. I'm sure like in the moment I've been like, wait, misunderstanding. Yeah. Like I wasn't going to, like I just had a very overwhelming experience. Yeah. And then I was like, honestly, I was like, okay, I have these things. If I want to wear them, great. If I don't, I'll just figure something else out at some point.
The cutest thing happened the other day. So you know how when Dad's just like killing time, how many minutes are we at?
39.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He like goes through his photos. He just like loves to sit and go through his photos. So I walked over to him and I was like, hey, what are you doing? And he was just looking at your wedding dress.
Aww.
And then he was like, I'm afraid I'm going to trip on this when I'm walking.
Oh, well, we need to cut 3 feet off the bottom of it.
I was like, Dad, you're going to be fine. But I just thought that was so cute. I was like, Dad.
Yeah, it's funny. He showed JT, he showed everyone because like, I think the next day at work, JT, had said something. He's like, yeah, your dad showed me the dress. I hope that's okay. I'm like, oh, I don't care. Like, because I think some people like don't show anyone.
Yeah.
Like, not even the bridesmaids and stuff. And like, I've showed anyone who'll look at it.
Yeah.
Just because like I guess I don't care. I'm gonna look completely different, and once again, it needs 45-foot cut off the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna look completely different, which does worry me because I'm like,
no, it's gonna be so pretty. Which reminds me, I need to get my bridesmaid dress altered as well.
Yeah, lots of things to do.
Things to do. There was something else I was gonna ask.
Are you gonna get lit this weekend?
Yeah, it's a really delicate balance between getting lit and having fun and then being like miserable the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I went out for St. Patty's Day, I had 9 drinks and I wasn't hungover the next day. So
that's absolutely
I'm
insane.
hoping that I can.
Were you drinking the whole day though? It wasn't like 9 drinks in an evening.
No, it was 9 drinks in 5 hours though.
If I had 9 drinks, we would be at the hospital.
The problem was, so we started with bottomless brunch. That's where you go wrong. And I had 5 mimosas.
Okay, so I feel like volume wise.
Yeah, and then I had 2 martinis and then I had 1 Moscow Mule.
I mean, that's insane, but okay. I feel like if you had like had 7 mules, you would have been dead on the floor.
Yeah, if I had 2 mules, I'm dead.
I guess mimosas is like a little bit different, but I just can't do mimosas. It just gives me such a migraine.
I know. Champagne's tough like that. When we went to Barrister's Ball, we were drinking a lot of champagne, and I just get an immediate headache usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, the last time, actually, the place that we're going to brunch on Saturday, that was the last time I had a mimosa, and I had such a bad migraine that I went home and I slept for like 4 hours, and I woke up and my head was still pounding. But I think they do bottomless Bloody Marys as well there, maybe.
I only like a Bloody Mary if it's like really spicy.
I just like it when it has all a bacon and an olive and a pickle and a
piece of celery.
And yeah, a piece of prosciutto. Like I like when they're all
prosciutto
zhuzhed up. Now like they give you your first one fancy, and then from that on it's just tomato juice and vodka.
That's funny. Delish. Delicioso. What was your favorite bachelorette you've been on?
Oh, I really liked. I've been to 3. Jess's, we went to Nashville, and I was right out of college, so I remember being stressed about money. So I didn't have like a ton of fun, just because like the whole time I was like, I literally like I think I had 1 paycheck under my belt, and I just bought all the stuff for my house of like living on my own. So I was just like very much balling on a budget, but like we had a great time. It was really fun, and Nashville's like always like it's literally the bachelorette capital of the world or whatever.
Yeah.
So it felt very bachelorette the whole time. And then Alexis, we went on a cruise. Now I got violently ill.
I remember calling you right before you got on the boat, and you're like, I have never been so sick in my entire life.
Yeah. So the situation with Alexis' bachelorette party is that we were having an ice storm, and our flight was not going to take off to get to this cruise. And like obviously for a cruise, you have to get on the boat. Like if you miss the boat, you're not going. And we were like, well, we also can't even afford to like fly down there and then just like hang out in Miami for a week, waiting for them to get back from their cruise. I mean, it wasn't a week, but you know.
Yeah.
And so at like 8 p.m., I went and I picked up a girl I had met on 2 occasions. And then we drove to Cincinnati, picked up my friend Nicole, and then drove to Atlanta through the night, through an ice storm. I've never been more scared. I drove, I think, 75% of the way, because the girl I picked up, she just got done working a 12-hour shift as a nurse at the hospital. And I think I had woken up at like 5 a.m. to start work too. And so like I just drove us, and we had picked up the rental car. The 2 of us had like signed for like insurance and stuff. And like since the ice storm was so bad, like I didn't want to risk Nicole driving, and then if she had an accident, she wasn't like, I was just like, and I didn't tell my mom I was doing any of this, which I didn't need to, because I was a 26-year-old maybe. And I was like, and because I knew if I told my mom, she'd be like that's insane. You can't drive to Atlanta throughout the night
Yeah.
in an ice storm. But I just didn't tell her. But turns out she had been tracking my location the entire time.
If there's
through
one
the
thing
night.
about mom, it's like she knows what
already
you're
knows.
doing before you
yeah,
do it.
Yeah. And so, and then I just remember we stopped at a gas station with like an hour to go. And so we didn't even know where we were going to fly out of. Our goal was just to drive as quickly and as far as we could south. And then once we got to a place that had airplanes that were taking off, book a flight and get to Florida. Otherwise, like, we would have like had 1 hour to spare before, like, if we drove all the way to Florida before the cruise took off, and we knew we couldn't like risk that, so we needed to get on a flight. But with like an hour or two left, we go to this gas station at 3 a.m, and my hands, like, my hands were like permanently in the white knuckle position. And I go in to use the bathroom, and the cashier's like, the bathroom's closed. And I said, I'm going to the bathroom. And then I just proceeded to go into the bathroom and use it and then leave. Like, I don't know why the bathroom was closed. It was fully functional. I don't know if she just like had already cleaned it and that was like for the end of her shift or something. I don't know. But and I'm a rule follower through and through. But I was like, there's a bathroom right here. I'm not going to go try to find another gas station. I just couldn't do it. And then so then I laid in the back for the last hour, and the nurse drove, and she drove so much better than me. Like, because I feel like I was like scared, and she was just like, we have to get to the airport because we booked a flight.
Yeah.
And we got there, and we were standby, and like within moments, like we got through security. The security person was like, you can't have the sunscreen, which was like totally under the liquid amount. But I was like, whatever, throw it out. We run, and we're like the last 3 people to get standby tickets, and we're like on this flight, like made it by the skin of our teeth. And then that was like a couple hour flight. I never once could I sleep. I couldn't sleep in the back of the car, couldn't sleep there. We get to this Airbnb and we start setting up because Nicole is the maid of honor. And so
the maid of honor cannot miss the bachelorette.
So she sets up, and I'm just like laying in a bed. But you know how you get like so overtired that like you can't fall asleep? Like, I had so much adrenaline pumping through me. I didn't get a single wink of sleep. All the other girls fly in from New York. They get there. They're like ready to party. They had been drinking on the flight. Like, they had woken up at like 9 a.m., had taken this like quick little flight down to Miami. Like, they were ready to go. And like the 3 of us hadn't slept at all.
Yeah, that's
And then we went out. And then we went, and also at this point, it was my birthday. As the clock stroke midnight as I was driving to Atlanta in an ice storm, it was like my birthday. And oh my gosh, and Nicole and I had the best time because she stayed up with me. And like we had Alani's. It was my first time having an Alani energy drink. We were jazzed. So then we go out to a really fancy dinner, but like I was just so tired that like I couldn't appreciate how nice it was. And then we went to 11, which is like one of the like biggest / most impressive strip clubs, which it was my first time being to a strip club. And then like the next morning I told Tanner like, yeah, we went to a strip club. And he's like, I said there was just so many thongs. And he's like, no, they call those banana hammocks. I was like, no, this was not like a male strip club. This was like a women dancing strip club. But like at that point I've like been in this strip club. I hadn't slept in 26 hours. And I was like, what is life? None of this. I knew it could so easily all be a dream, and I had just died in that ice storm. And I was making this all up in my afterlife. So then we go to bed finally at like 2 a.m. a day and a half later. And I wake up. Nicole has liquid IVs for everyone. I drink one, and I immediately run to the bathroom, throw up so much.
Nice.
And then I had another liquid IV, threw it up. I was like, oh no, can't keep food down. This isn't good. So then we decide we're just going to go, and I hadn't had anything in my stomach that morning, but we need to go check in for the cruise. And we're like, we're going to eat once we get on the cruise because like all inclusive. And so I'm feeling so ill in this Uber to the cruise. And it's obviously like hot in Miami. I was feeling horrible. We get out of the Uber. I immediately puke into... Oh no, I puke on the ground. I puke on the ground next to this
And this
It
point,
was
I
like
called Zoe.
It was this
I'm
big
like,
banister.
I'm
And
like, ooh, Zoe, you're in Miami. And she was like, I've never been so sick. We're getting on the cruise. I have to check in. I won't stop vomiting.
okay, so there was this like this post thing. I don't know. There's like four corners. I don't know how you explain that. I puked on the one side, and then I walk around. There's a trash can literally right there. And so then, and this is COVID times. So this is like on the cruise. It was like you had to be vaccinated to go on the cruise. You had to have a negative COVID test. So that's why Kylie couldn't go, because Kylie got a positive COVID test, and so she was supposed to be flying in from Michigan. She couldn't come. She was devastated. So sad. We were all so sad. But like there was no way around it.
Yeah.
And she didn't even feel sick, I don't think.
That sucks so bad.
So then you like to get on this cruise, you have to say like how you're feeling. You have to show your negative COVID test. And like I'm in line, I'm like I can't keep anything down. Like I was like this isn't me being hungover. Like there's something wrong with me. And everyone's like, Zoe, shut up. We're trying to get onto this cruise. You can't say you're not feeling good.
Yeah.
So then I rally for this thing, and they're like, do you have any symptoms? I'm like, feel great. Which I look like a person that just vomited in the street. So then we get on this cruise, and we got like the cheapest room you could. So it was a room that had not a single window. It was on the inside of the ship. They were like they looked like little dorms, but no windows. And I slept for a few hours. Still couldn't keep any food down. And then I got up and I got some tacos. Everyone was like on the boat, like drinking, having a party. And I like finally came up, and I was like sitting in the corner, like trying to eat some tacos. And so then also we had bought like the drink package, which was like, I want to say like $200 to $400. Like it was a lot, but it was like, oh, well, if you have 4 drinks a day or whatever, I had 3 drinks the entire cruise. And at one point I was getting virgin drinks and just not telling anyone. Like one time I got one from me and Nicole, and like hers was an absolutely different color, and I was like, I don't know. Seems crazy. So yeah, I just kept getting mocktails on the whole cruise because, and I don't think I had overdone it with the alcohol. I think it was that I hadn't slept for so long.
Yeah.
I had a few drinks, and then I was just not in a good place.
Yeah, that's insane. Okay, so was that your favorite bachelorette?
Yes. All that to be said, yes. No, and I like Kylie's too. Kylie's was fun. We honestly we're doing the exact same thing for mine as we did for hers. For hers, we did they got like a van, and the maid of honor's husband drove us around. So we had a driver the whole time, and we just went out to like different bars and stuff, and it was fun. It was good. There was 2 pregnant ladies on that one, which was really interesting because the one we just assumed, like I hadn't ever met her before. She seemed like a kind of more reserved person. I just assumed she didn't drink. And then there was one pregnant person who was like pretty recently pregnant, but we were just kind of like hush hush, like, hey, she's like pregnant, but it's like early days. Yeah. So like we're just not gonna like, I don't know, like say much about it. And so then we go to the wedding, and the one girl's like noticeably pregnant. She's like, yeah, it was just so crazy. Went to the bachelorette party. I didn't feel like pressured once to drink. Like no one ever said like, why aren't you drinking? And we were all just like, oh, we just assumed you were a person who didn't drink. We didn't know you were also pregnant.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so
this is my first bachelorette.
It's just crazy.
I've never been.
You have your first and your second like back-to-back weekends.
I know. This is my first.
So also, by default, this is gonna be your favorite. Yeah.
And so like try planning a party you've never been to.
Yeah.
Someone's like literally like they're like picture something you've never done once in your life. Okay, now plan it for 8 people that have done 100 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like the impossible task. Same with the bridal shower. I've never been to a bridal shower before. I was literally Googling like what do people do at bridal showers? I have no idea.
Funny.
Like, I didn't know. Was I supposed to get a van?
No, actually, Tanner's mom had recommended it too because she thinks that we're gonna be abducted. She's like 8 pretty girls intoxicated running around. I just don't know. I think you guys are all gonna be kidnapped and sex trafficked.
I'm kidnapped. Take me away. Sweet
release. We had just figured out, because we were there for 2 days.
Okay.
And we had figured out after like the 3rd Uber, because she also had 12 girls. And so we were going to have to get like 2 to 3 Ubers every time. whenever we went to different places.
Yeah.
And so it was actually cheaper to get a van. Whereas like our Airbnb is like pretty walkable, right?
Yeah.
So
it's like right in the middle.
Yeah, and I guess we also have one sober queen who's pregnant who could also do some driving if needed, but I'm not gonna make her drive us around town.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, so if this is really bad, I just need it to be known that it's not my fault.
I've never done this before.
I've literally never been on a bachelorette trip. And the one next weekend's also like a really low key. We're staying in New York. Like, we're doing like 2 nights of like going out.
I'm trying to get the contact.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Whatever.
No, I'm excited. I think it's gonna be good.
And then I was asking Mom and Dad, because I'm staying at my parents' house, obviously, because I'm home.
Because you can't come back in with me.
Because I can't stay with Zoe to preserve our friendship.
You stayed with me over the holiday.
And I was like, so what did you guys do? And you're like, you're bachelorettes and bachelor trips. And Mom went to Columbus.
Wait, really?
Yeah. And
oh, wow.
Dad went to Tom's garage. Like Tom Miller had Zoe.
Sorry,
Zoe,
my meeting today just got canceled.
Zoe, here, can we say our least favorite things about each other?
I'm sorry.
Zoe, and this comes with being, I hate my computer. This comes with being your own boss and running the farm operation. She has no separation between like work and fun, and she's like constantly multitasking.
Because work is fun.
She's like always on her email.
I'm sorry,
and, like, texting and like.
I have a meeting right after this, and I just got an email saying let's reschedule for next Monday, which like I can't do, bro. But whatever.
What was I talking about? Anyway, so Dad's bachelor party. Is that what they're called? Bachelor party? Was at his friend Tom's house in his garage, and he invited his dad.
Well, Tanner invited his dad.
Was I supposed to invite Mom?
No. No, I've seen both.
I think if you have like a party mom that like likes to go to bars, you could do
and
that.
so sometimes the moms will come to like the dinner and then the girls go out and stuff. But Mom wouldn't like that.
Sorry, Mom, you're not invited.
But Mom wouldn't enjoy it.
And I should probably be anxious.
Yeah. So
about how much we're drinking.
Yeah. But no, I think people go either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay. Do you think we've been filming for an hour?
Yeah, I think we have been. And we need to go because I need to email this person back because I haven't been present. I'm looking at my emails.
Okay. Well, it's been so real.
And it's been so fun. Okay. See
you later.
See you on the other side.
Okay, bye.